dragster has 4,000. It's built to go 250 miles an hour plus, and it's a glimpse into one future direction of dragster design. Its designer, Bob Norwood, says there's not much room left for innovation with today's top dragsters. He says the big V8 dragsters can't be improved much more because of safety rules. So he's taken the power technology of the dragster and combined it with the size and the look of today's most popular street racers, the Japanese four-cylinder cars. The result is a car he calls the Max 4.
With that mindset, we came into this thing, let's just go out, start out with a small motor, which is a four-cylinder versus a V8, and it's going to have inherently less power because it's smaller, but we can put more technology back in it and get it to where it matches something like a car that you could buy today.
On the outside, the Max 4 looks pretty similar to the street car it was modeled after.
We started with a Honda Acura Integra body, and that's where our changes began. We started changing everything. We went 20 inches narrower. We added a 14-inch distance here to get the wheelbase out from 100 inches to 115. We made all Lexan windows and stuff for it and blocked off the doors so you don't see the door handles or the doors or anything. This is where the exhaust comes out. These air vents that flip up under high pressure to let the air out. Two parachutes. When we got all done, this is the only part that was the original part, and that's the decal on the back.
But underneath, the Max 4 is anything but a street car. It's an updated version of Pro Dragster technology.
Basically, this is the whole fuel system in this part of the deal. The cam belts and cam drives and the cam towers, spark plugs, 3 for each cylinder. These are the turbochargers, exhaust manifolds. This box is the steering box. It's always in gear. It has only one gear. There's no transmission. The brakes are run by hand. This is the brake. Solid, smooth rubber tires, 17 inches wide, and a rear end final drive here, which is a 3.2 gear ratio that runs a big titanium axle shaft that drives the wheels.
There are already classes of four-cylinder cars on the pro circuit. They hit top speeds of around 190 over the quarter mile. Norwood projects that his car will eventually go 250 and cover the distance in less than 6 seconds. One reason is the huge engine block that dwarfs other four-cylinder blocks. It has a capacity of 286 cubic inches, or 4.8 liters, and is cut from a solid chunk of aluminum.
This engine is not liquid cooled at all. It has no oil drains going back through, all the oil drains on the outside, and so it's solid. It's that thick. And it's just, that piece of aluminum that thick has got a lot of strength, and that's what we need is a good, strong case to hold all apart, so it can take the huge horsepower, 4,000 horsepower.
Perhaps the biggest innovation is the fuel system. Like the top drag cars, the Max 4 runs on powerful nitromethane. But instead of pre-mixing the nitro with alcohol, this car has 2 separate fuel tanks. Onboard computers decide when to use each fuel.
This is the alcohol tank, and this tank contains the nitromethane. There's a small battery which runs the 2 computers. This computer on the top runs the ignition and the nitro, and the computer on the bottom runs the alcohol and does all the data logging.
Norwood says his system will cut the fuel cost in half and greatly reduce the risk of nitro explosions inside the engine.
We start the engine on alcohol, and then after, when we're ready to run, or just ready to stage the car, we turn on the nitromethane. As we go down the track, we're going to roll out the nitro at about the 1,000-foot mark and run a bunch of alcohol to that last 300 feet. And it keeps the engine from getting killed in the process. Ignition on.
The hard part is finding exactly how and when to switch between fuels. 1/100th of a second could make all the difference.
And if I want to add some fuel, say right there, then what I do is I just go like this, because that's more fuel. This is less fuel. We do all our tuning with a instead of a screwdriver or changing jets, we just do it with a computer right here. Now just richen that mixture up right there in that spot. It's just a learning curve, and it's a steep one.
Norwood says the Max 4, once he's finished tweaking it, will sell for around $100,000 for the whole car, and that running costs will be about a quarter of those of a top dragster.
So you give you a good pop.
Some of the Max 4's technologies are currently not allowed in pro drag racing. For example, computer-driven fuel injection and boosting the turbochargers with nitrous oxide, a powerful gas once used in fighter aircraft. But Bob thinks the rules will eventually catch up with the technology.
So, you know, this is going to be a no-rules type deal. It's not a class sport. It's going to be a purely exhibition type car right at this point in the game. But it looks to me as something that is potentially going to happen, and if nothing else, I'll be the first guy that ever did this.